So, I, once upon a time, was working on a show called Strike Witches with Scott Sager, and I don't know how this even happened. It's really, really confusing to me, but I was standing there recording a line, and all of a sudden I was like, beep, 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 and then I don't know what happened, but I was on the floor next to him. Don't really know how I got there. And Scott was like, you okay? Because all you hear is like, and like thud. He was like, you okay, Cherami? I was like, yeah, how did I get here? He's like, I don't know. Really. So that was awkward in that I still don't know how that happened. Another thing that was awkward is I was sitting in a stool once recording Peach Girl, and like, you know when people say don't lean back on stools? I was leaning back on the stool, and all of a sudden, like, it just slipped out from under me, so I'm like checking if people, talking to Zach in the window, and then like hit the ground, and he laughed the whole day. And then there was another prank that they tried to play on me that went poorly on them, which, I mean, it should have been a really great prank. I don't know how I screwed it up, but that's just one of my weird personality things. There's a huge mannequin that one of the engineers has, and he has like a Hannibal Lecter mask, and he's covered in blood, and he should be really creepy. He is really creepy and kind of hideous. They put it in the booth the night before, so it would be there first thing in the morning for my session. Had the lights off, his arms are out like this, like he's coming to attack me, and he was standing in the back corner behind me. I was the first one in the studio that day, so I opened the door, turned the lights on, and then went and sat out in the front, never looked behind in the back corner. The engineer came in, the lights were on, and I just see Justin Houston, who's this very tall man, who goes, and I said, are you okay, Justin? He goes, yeah, I had like a weird thing. Okay. And then Chris Kaysen, who's the director, came in eventually. I opened the door to go back into the studio. Again, back to Manny, the mannequin. And Chris Kaysen was like, baby, Cherami, there's something behind you. And I turned around, and instead of like screaming or freaking out, I was like speechless. And then I said, oh, hi, I'll give you a hug, I love you. And I like went to hug it, and then I went and talked to my parents about that. And I was like, yeah, I'm actually really concerned, because that's a horrible response for somebody like, somebody's like standing at me with a knife, and like my response is to be like, this is a horrible situation, I should give you love. So I was like, I'm really disturbed by that response. My mom's like, well, actually, when you were 18 months old, we were like going around some store around Halloween, and your grandmother took a wolf mask that was really hideous and put it on because she wanted to see what your reaction would be. I said, that's kind of child abuse, but whatever. So she put the wolf mask on, and I started crying and said, I love you. You can be my friend. And then I have like all of these like toys that have one eye. Like I'm like Sid from Toy Story, but backwards. Like any of those like horrible toys that are like falling apart. I like stole the Three Stooges dolls from my grandmother's store that she had because I thought that they were awkward and so they must need a family. So I have like all these like beautiful dolls, and I'm walking around with like the Three Stooges and Freddy Krueger. And people would be like, that's such an interesting doll. I was like, he's not very pretty, but he has a family. I'm like, golly, Cherami. So, yeah, that's my poor choice. And so everybody was so pissed about the mannequin thing, because they're like, we worked so hard on this, and you were the worst person. I said, I'm sorry, okay? This is not a response that I can control. And believe me, I should get that looked at. And, but yeah, I think they pulled the prank on somebody else, and it worked out better.